What if missing out on Giannis Antetokounmpo actually becomes the Lakers' smartest play this season? Listen up, basketball fanatics. While the entire league is salivating over the possibility of landing Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Los Angeles Lakers might be playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. The brewing Milwaukee Bucks meltdown isn't just about one superstar potentially hitting the exit door. It's about an entire roster suddenly becoming available, and hidden within that wreckage are gems that could transform the Lakers' championship aspirations without mortgaging their entire future. Let's cut through the noise and get real for a moment. Yes, Giannis is a generational talent, a two-time MVP who can dominate games in ways few players in NBA history ever have. But here's the uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to acknowledge. The Lakers probably don't have the ammunition to win that bidding war. And you know what? That might be the best thing that could happen to them when Giannis potentially requests that trade. And let's be honest, the writing is increasingly on the wall. Milwaukee transforms from a contender clinging to relevance into a franchise staring down the barrel of a complete teardown. This isn't going to be some half-measured retool. This is scorched earth territory. Folks, the Bucks constructed their entire identity around the Greek Freak. Every roster decision, every strategic move, every dollar spent was calibrated to maximize his otherworldly talents. Remove that gravitational center, and suddenly you've got a collection of role players orbiting nothing. Milwaukee knows this. Their front office isn't naive. When Giannis walks, everyone becomes expendable. But here's where the Lakers' opportunity crystallizes into something tangible and exciting. Not every player on Milwaukee's roster is damaged goods. In fact, several of them are exactly the type of complementary pieces that championship teams are built around. The kind of players who don't demand max contracts, but deliver maximum impact in the right system. Let me introduce you to the name that should be dominating Lakers' war room discussions, Ryan Rollins. If you haven't been paying attention to this kid's emergence, you're missing one of the season's most compelling storylines. Rollins is absolutely torching opposing defenses right now, averaging 17.9 points per game while shooting an absurdly efficient 49% from the field and 39% from three-point range. Add 4.0 rebounds, 5.9 assists, and 1.6 steals per contest, and you're looking at a legitimate two-way contributor who's just scratching the surface of his potential. But here's the kicker that should make Lakers general manager Rob Pelinka's eyes light up like a kid on Christmas morning. Rollins is making just $4 million per year on a 3-year deal he signed this past offseason. Read that again. $4 million. In today's inflated NBA salary landscape, that's not just team-friendly, it's borderline theft. This is one of the absolute best contracts in professional basketball right now, and the value proposition for the Lakers is staggering. Imagine adding a player of Rollins' caliber without disrupting your salary cap flexibility or sacrificing multiple future first-round picks. That's the definition of a smart, sustainable roster move. The challenge? Milwaukee might actually recognize what they have here. Even in a full teardown scenario, the Bucks could reasonably decide that Rollins represents the exact type of young, affordable ascending talent you build around during a rebuild. Prying him away won't be easy, and it shouldn't be. But if the Lakers can convince Milwaukee that selling high on Rollins while his value peaks makes strategic sense, this could be the heist of the trade deadline. Let's pivot to a different type of acquisition target, one that addresses an immediate, glaring need for Los Angeles. Gary Trent Jr. may have already reached his ceiling as an NBA player, but that ceiling includes one absolutely elite skill: shooting the basketball from distance. Trent is currently converting 37.4% of his three-point attempts, and he does so with the kind of quick release and off-ball movement that creates nightmares for defensive coordinators. At just $3.7 million, he represents the definition of a low-risk, high-reward addition. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Why would the Lakers want a player who's potentially past his prime? Fair question, and here's the answer. Championship teams aren't built exclusively with ascending young stars. You need veterans who understand their role, execute it consistently, and don't require plays designed specifically for them. Trent fits that description perfectly. He's a plug-and-play floor spacer who would immediately improve the Lakers' offensive geometry. Surround your star players with shooters who command defensive attention, and suddenly driving lanes open up, post-ups become more efficient, and the entire offensive ecosystem functions more smoothly. The Lakers have been desperately seeking more reliable three-point shooting all season. Trent provides exactly that without demanding significant assets in return. If Milwaukee enters full sell mode, he's the type of player they'll move for reasonable compensation, making this a realistic target for Los Angeles. And then there's Myles Turner, a name that Lakers fans have heard whispered in trade rumors for what feels like half a decade now. The former Indiana Pacers center has been connected to Los Angeles so many times that it's become almost comical. Yet, here we are again, with Turner potentially available and the Lakers potentially interested. The timing on this one is genuinely complicated. Los Angeles recently acquired DeAndre Ayton, which significantly reduces the urgency of adding another traditional center. The front court isn't the crisis area it was earlier in the season, and investing significant assets into a position of relative strength doesn't align with smart roster construction. However, and this is important, Turner's trade value is arguably at a low point right now. He's been solid but unspectacular in Milwaukee, and if the Bucks are selling, they're not going to command premium prices for a center who's never quite lived up to his potential as a franchise cornerstone. The strategic play here would be acquiring Turner at a discount, banking on the Lakers' development staff and system maximizing his rim protection and floor spacing abilities. Turner can shoot from distance and protect the paint, skills that remain valuable in today's NBA. If the price is right, he's worth serious consideration as a depth piece who could provide insurance and versatility. Here's the fundamental truth that separates championship organizations from perpetual disappointments. Sustainable success comes from accumulating quality depth, not just chasing superstars at any cost. The Lakers are in a fascinating position. They're competitive right now, but they're not one player away from guaranteed championship glory. Adding Giannis would obviously be transformative, but the cost would likely gut their roster and eliminate future flexibility. Missing out on the Greek Freak, while strategically acquiring multiple quality contributors from Milwaukee's fire sale, could actually position Los Angeles better for sustained contention. Think about it this way. Would you rather have Giannis and a barren roster around him, or would you prefer adding 2 or 3 players like Rollins, Trent, and potentially Turner while maintaining your core and future assets? The answer isn't as obvious as it might initially seem. Championship teams are built through layers of smart decisions, not singular desperate swings. The 2004 Detroit Pistons won a title without a traditional superstar. The 2014 San Antonio Spurs demolished the Heat through superior depth and system play. Even recent champions like the 2019 Toronto Raptors succeeded because they had quality contributors at every position, not just Kawhi Leonard. When Giannis officially requests his trade, and all signs point toward that becoming reality sooner rather than later, Milwaukee faces an existential crisis. They can't half-step into a rebuild. They can't pretend that keeping the supporting cast together makes sense without their franchise centerpiece. The Bucks will be open for business in a way few contending teams ever are. Every player not named Giannis becomes available, and teams with cap flexibility and tradable assets suddenly have access to quality NBA professionals at potentially discounted prices. For the Lakers, this represents a golden opportunity to improve their roster without sacrificing their future. Rob Pelinka should be working the phones constantly, building relationships with Milwaukee's front office, and positioning Los Angeles as a willing trade partner for whatever pieces the Bucks decide move. The beauty of targeting secondary pieces rather than the primary star is simple: less competition, lower prices, and more negotiating leverage. While the Celtics, Heat, and Warriors engage in a bidding war for Giannis that drives his price into the stratosphere, the Lakers can quietly acquire the supporting players who make championship rosters functional. Look, I understand the allure of Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's a transcendent talent who would immediately elevate any franchise lucky enough to acquire him. But championship team building requires cold, calculated decision-making, not emotional reactions to big names. The Lakers should absolutely monitor the Giannis situation and make a competitive offer if the opportunity presents itself. But they should not engage in a bidding war that compromises their long-term flexibility and depth. Instead, Los Angeles should be laser-focused on the secondary market that Milwaukee's teardown creates. Ryan Rollins offers youth, efficiency, and one of the league's best contracts. Gary Trent Jr. provides immediate shooting and veteran presence. Myles Turner represents a calculated gamble on a player whose value might be temporarily suppressed. Collectively, these moves could transform the Lakers from a good team into a genuinely dangerous championship contender without requiring them to sacrifice their future. That's smart basketball operations. That's how sustainable success gets built. The Giannis sweepstakes will dominate headlines and generate endless speculation. But while everyone's watching the main event, the Lakers have an opportunity to win by focusing on what everyone else is ignoring: the quality players left behind when superstars change addresses. So here's my challenge to you, Lakers faithful. Are you ready to trust the process of smart team building over the excitement of blockbuster headlines? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to smash that like button if you're ready to see Los Angeles make moves that actually matter this trade deadline. Let's talk strategy, not just star power.